Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian indices, and starting with the ASX 200 here on the daily chart. We've been looking for wave 4 here, and we've been counting 5 waves up to this point here. Now that's fine, however the current move down through here, this little move here coming down from the 6,300, it appears to be corrective. So we need a strategy for one more move to the upside to bring this over to here. If I'm right in the first instance over here, then we'll see this just drop down here, and then the 6,200 will confirm as a retested resistance that we're on the right track in terms of it moving down further. But it does appear to be corrective, and we'll talk about that. So it's possible that we're going to get one more high here. So we need a strategy to trade this trend up here. Okay, so if it's going to be like this here, then where can I go? To our chart. I think I've done that. So from this wave 4 here, I'll just go back here. So we've got let's go to the 4-hour chart. So we've got from this wave 4, we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 back here. So from this wave 4 here, we've been counting it like this as 1 and 2, and then I can count 5 waves here, correction, 5 waves here, correction, and then 5 waves up here. So that's why I've counted it like this, and it's worked out quite nicely. And you know, if this does drop from here and then becomes lodged under here and then moves down, well then we know that we're on the right track here. But we also need a strategy, because this particular pattern here appears to be corrective, bullish corrective, so we need to take a long trade if need be to head up in this direction here. So having this pattern here and then going back to this other chart here and picking that up from wave 4 here, in this case it would be wave 1 here, wave 2 here, 5 waves for wave 1 and 2 here, and all of this as the third wave coming into here. So I would have to count this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a very small 5th wave here for this one. And then we've got our triangle pattern over here for wave 4, and then wave 5 to make wave 3 here, and this would be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here for wave 4. And the reason that that I'm labeling it as an A and a B and a C here, and then we need to be long with, say, support on the 6,250. If that's the case, because this move, if this particular pattern here, let me just go in here. So if I can draw here, so the market moves up, and then with a correction, right, first of all, with the correction, the A wave is normally the sharp one, right, and then wave B comes up, and then wave C is more lazy, you know, lazy like that. So we can see in this case here, we've had this fairly sharp here, moves here, and then this has been a bit lazier here, so it's sort of reluctant to move down. So that's what makes it an ABC correction. If this one here, this lazy one here, was as sharp here, coming down here, well then it would be in bearish mode at that stage. It's got the personality of being bearish, but I'm not seeing that. So we really need to consider this structure here being breached above. It all sort of points to this sort of number here. Then we really need to be long at that point. Now, in terms of being long, we normally look for the first impulse wave to the upside here. So we're going to talk about this little structure in here as well. So just on the hourly chart here that we've been working, this is how it would fit here. So we've got our A wave down here, a B wave here, and normally, and that's why I hadn't labelled this yesterday, because I just wanted to see what this would look like here. So otherwise I would have labelled it like wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and then down for wave 3, but it just doesn't look like a wave 3 in that instance, so it looks more corrective. But at the same time, I don't have any evidence of a move up. Yes, it has moved up, but I'm talking about in terms of form and structure in Elliott terms. term, so I don't have that yet. But in this little structure here, we could look at this as wave 1 and wave 2 here, nice little third wave here. We could also look at it as an A and a B and a C wave here, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But as a impulse wave would be 1 and 2 and 3 here, and then a move up here would be wave 5, wouldn't it? So we'd have 5 waves up there then, and then we would have some type of correction here, and then we would see a move up here further. Okay, and that would all be dancing, all that there would be dancing across the 6,250. So as it stands at the moment, we've got an A wave and a B wave and a C wave here. So we could also have one more move down here, and then we could also move up to here as well. So even though we've been short on this one and this one in here, and hopefully that you would have had the noggin to a few grey cells to get out at the next level here. I probably didn't mention that. I may have mentioned it. I should have mentioned it, but you should know that by now. Yeah, so counting this down through here, it does leave another space for one to move down here. So really, we wouldn't go. You'd need to be very careful about going short. I'll just leave that there. Let's copy that. So in terms of going short from here, we would want to see the market move down here, and we don't take the breakout through here. We wait for the retest, and if the retest fails, then we can move down through here. And if you've got access to the futures market, then you'll be able to see the volume in this space here as well. And if the volume to the upside is less than the move to the downside, the volume to the downside, then you know that it's corrective, because all corrective waves are in less volume compared to their previous wave. So look, that's sort of where we are with this here at the moment. So even if you took a long trade here, I'll just see if we can go into the tick chart here, and we'll draw this out a little bit. I might even go into a smaller tick chart here. So let's go into... Yeah, this is why it can still have another move down here, by the way. This one here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the third wave. A fourth wave, whoops a daisy, where does that one belong into there? Fourth wave to here, and a fifth wave down. That counts quite nicely like that. But this little move to the upside here, I just want to go into here on, I'll just control save that. So there's a couple of ways that that we can count this. Just save that. But I just want to study this little bit here and work that a little bit here for the day traders. So I'll just go to 20 ticks. Okay, so first of all, our levels. So we've got 250 here, and then we've got 200 here. So we can darken that one into black here because it's a minor level. And then we can look at these levels here, so 10, 20, 30, and then 50. And then, of course, the next one here is 65, 72, and so on. So this little move starting off here, this obviously looks like a third wave to here, doesn't it? So we could look at this here as... I suppose we could look at it like that. Yeah, 1 A, B, C for 2... 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's a couple of ways that could be counted too, so that's not very helpful. But what we could do, if we took the lowest part here and then look, because obviously this is a wave 3 here, and we look for the 38.2% retracement level, well, we're there now with that, aren't we? So I'm taking the lowest, the most conservative point here and looking for treating this as a third wave here. So this is where it would pull back to at this particular point. So we're sort of on the money at 62.30 here for a move up here. I can't draw on this side here, but so it's a little bit tricky. It would have been nice to be able to be down here further to put a level across the top here, because this here will move up through here, and then it's got the ability to move back again as an ABC from that point. So if we let me just do a few things here. So first of all, we've got our upside target, so I'll just put it on the 2 there, which will be this point here. So roughly in there, and then we can look at taking all of that from here at worst at this point. So it's got the ability to come back to this level here again, here the 6222 here, in this space here after it moves up. So it can move up to here and then have an A and a B and a C sharp back to here, and then move up from this point here. So bit of a rock and a hard place. We could go long here, but we don't know if this is an A and a B and a C coming back up to wave 4 of 1 lesser degree and then moving down from that point. Or, so we could go long here and put the stop sort of under here while that moves up there. It's a little, it just doesn't sort of add up in terms of the risk reward at this particular point. So I think what we can do is let's go back to the 1 hour chart here just for a moment. I think the safe thing here to do, because there is a possibility of one more leg down here, the 50 area here, if we see the market move up into the 50 and a bit below here, then it's going to have some type of correction here, okay? So once that comes in, then let's just remove this one here and then put this one over here. Let's just wait a little bit and put that there, okay? So in a nutshell, once you've got your first high above the level here, then you have to wait for that. Then that's your trigger. So you have to wait for that. And then you can bring it down to this high here, which will be this high here. And then that gives us a bit of a chance for this to play out here. But the good news here is that if we do push up and we make this market pushes up here and makes a new high above this one here, right, then we know that we got an impulse wave at that point. So that means that if we know we've got 5 waves here, then you'll know you'll get a correction, and then you'll move up again from that space. So all in all, we don't know how far this is going to pull back. Yes, the 61.8% and so on and so on, but the support will be at the 62.30 area here, even though the 61.8% is a little bit lower than that. It probably won't come down and match that. It'll probably just come back to the 4th wave of 1 lesser degree, which will be here. So if that moves up, if that moves up here, then you can risk and buy back on here as well. Okay, so I'll just do that here. There will be a bounce off that, but then you'll also need, if you buy here, then you'll need to keep the stop under the 2 here at that particular point. Do we have a red one there? No, but I'll just grab a red one. Sorry, I'm just thinking this out on the hop. So you'll need, if you buy here, then you'll need to keep the stop under the 2 here, okay? But the good news is that we'll have 5 waves up here, so that means that after correction we'll have another 5 up. So if that moves up here, then you can just allow it to be, let the tops form, let it fall back, and if it hits the 62.30, buy one there, but keep the stop under the 20 there, the 16, and then also buy again when these get triggered here, or at least get support back on this one here, and you can also get support back on here as well. Today's Wednesday, so also consider Thursday is normally the bearish day, so there could be corrective on the bearish day, and if it's bearish on Thursday, then you want to be buying on the Thursday afternoon, late Thursday afternoon, and then also Friday morning, and then through Friday, and then that will make Monday bullish as well, and buying Monday morning and Monday lunchtime as well in the bullish weekly cycle. So let's see how we go, and if it does move down through here, I'm still considering it corrective. So if it moves down here and finds resistance here, then go short here. But if it finds support back on the 2, then start building into this space here. So build on the 6,200, the 10, the 20, and the 30. When it finds support on the 30, buy there, and then so on to the upside again. So we are looking for long trades based on the fact that this here appears to be carries the weight of being a corrective wave, and we'll see one more move to the upside. In terms of the upside, we can just in the first instance grab that high here, grab that low here, and then look for the 61.8% here. It can go to the next level as well up here, the 6.5, and that's what I would be thinking anyway. So we know that the 6,500 is a medium level. It carries a lot of weight, so that's where we would be looking at in a nutshell. But this is where the first real resistance will come in here, apart from these current tops here as well, this one here. So just clean that up a little bit before I head off. Okay, so I'll just save that. Now I want to have a look at the other market, so onto China here. And with China here, we were looking at, in the bigger picture here, as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. And then the C wave, we're counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here. And then the fifth wave's got an extension in it, so it's wave 1 and 2 here, wave 3 here, wave 4 here, and we're looking down for wave 5 here as wave C here. It's also possible to have this as a wave 3 coming down here as well, but I don't need to get into I won't get into that just yet. I will wait for this market here to finish, or if it finds support on this medium level here, 11,500, then we'll be going long. If you've been short coming down through here, you may have played it out and taken profit here and this and that, but this move up here now and move back, we can bring that stop down to the top here. But this stop area here is also the long area here as well. So let's just go into the 4-hour chart and just have a bit of a look at that here. So we would be looking at this is wave 3 low here, an A and a B and a C here for this particular wave 4 here. Wave 4s can get a bit more complicated. We can bring that down to here now, just merge that into 2 of them there. It's nice to see it move off here, off the highs from yesterday's, what we've been waiting for, but at the same time, it's in the 50-60% box here, so it's going to find support, and if it is going to move up from here, then it's going to move up from here, basically, from that point there. And if it does that, then we need to be long on a breach of these highs here, or even closer with support on this, on the 11,500, we'll turn long here, but otherwise, if this is going to move down further here, it's going to move back up here 50-60% and then fail and move down from that point there and give us something like this here. Okay, so that's our strategy to be long or to continue short. There will be support here. We can pretty much put that on the 11,200, but that is a 50-60% retracement level from there. The Hong Kong market, the Hang Seng, it's the same as well here. We've been tracking this down through here. We're out of our short trade here anyway. So we've got this as wave 4 here, and we're looking at this as wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 to finish this off here. However, if we're going to be wrong here, then we need to be long. And as mentioned last time, this little thin line through here, if that's breached, grab a small position. But if this top here is breached, then we want to be long with the normal trade from there. Okay, so that will be the trigger to the upside. It is possible that this wave 4 can get more complicated as an A wave, an A and a B and a C for the B wave, and 5 waves up here for the C wave here, and then down, but we're going to take the risk at that point there, because we know that the other Asian markets are moving off. We know that there's still a trade war in amongst all of this, but that's just a bit of hustle and bustle until everybody gets what they want at the table. The Nifty here is on track here on the daily chart here, so we've called wave 3 here, wave 4 here, this wave 1, wave 2 here, wave 1 and 2 here, and we're moving up into wave 3 here, which will probably be a bit lower than that, but we'll sort that out as we go. So we can go in here and look at this particular trend here. I think we're on the 4-hour chart here. If not, we'll go into more intraday. Okay, here we are. So it's good. So 4-hour chart here. We've been counting from wave 1 and 2 here. As an A and a B and a C, and then wave 1 and 2, then 5 little waves for 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the third wave. Last time we spoke, we were looking for an ABC for the fourth, and now we're moving up for the fifth wave here. We can go long here, obviously, as mentioned last video, but this won't go too far. This will just go into this space up here, and then it will come back and test again. So if you've got a position here, you can decide what you need to do with it, but we'll certainly be looking to go long again. Well, I'll put it above the 11,000, but we should be able to buy this pullback as well. I've got this red stop here, but we don't need to put that in just yet. It will need to go under this one here. I could put it to here, and that's fine for this trade up here. In fact, you can put that way up here now if you wanted to, if you're going to take profit up these numbers here. But otherwise, we need to wait for, if we're going to take the whole trend on, then we need to wait for this to fall into place here. Then we can put the stop in there. Okay, so I'll leave that with you there. I'll just save that. But once this dance is done here at the 11,000, then we'll be moving up to, we'll be holding to 11,500. If we were going to get out, because of this, we had 5 waves in this little stretch here, then we would have to reassess what we're doing and look at 11,300. But this would only pull back 100 points to the 200 before moving higher at that stage. The Nikkei is much the same pattern as the Nifty 50, and in this case we also can call wave 4 in here, and wave 1, an A and a B and a C coming back to the 50-60% retracement level, and then you can see that we've got this moving up here very sharply, and as I mentioned in a couple of other videos, that we'll be moving into the third wave, so we'll be moving into the third of the third. I think we're on the 4-hour chart here, or the hourly chart. I won't go, I'll go to the hourly chart. I think we were sort of more into that one, I think. Right, here we go. So, yeah, everything's pretty much going according to plan here. So wave 1 and 2 here. I haven't pulled this apart on a tick chart, so I'm just sort of winging it a little bit, but we've been pretty well right from here, but I may have this wrong in here a little bit, but not far off the money. But if we call this wave 4 here, and it's certainly got the personality of a wave 4 here, as an A and a B and a C wave here, expanded flat, and then wave 1 and 2, and then we'll see wave 3 move up into the 23 area here. And we have to remember that 23 is number 3, so wherever you see a 3, wherever, it's going to be group 1, and it's very important. So we'll see some type of I'll have to reshape this up a little bit, but we'll have to see some sort of dance across this particular level, and then find support, and then we can continue. But we'll certainly stay with this market. We don't need to move out of it. You can take profit up in the tops here. Let's get our 5 waves in here first, okay, before we look at taking some profit here of 50 or 70% or 80% or all of it or whatever. But when this is done and dusted here, we've got that top in here, which would be 5 waves, then it can pull back wherever, say in there somewhere. It can pull back into this space here, basically. But we'll get to that when we get to it, because I want to double check a few things. Alrighty, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Cheers.